Hi everyone, my name's Andy Robertshaw. Today I'm going to talk about Daily Killer Su Doku 30416. So this is a greater than level 10 puzzle. So somebody has mentioned in the Facebook group they were stuck on this one. I managed to solve it earlier, so hopefully I'll remember what I did to solve it. So I'm now going to go through it, hopefully more quickly than usual, a bit less thinking time. Okay, so as ever, I'm going to start by filling in cages with limited options. So I've got 3 there, which is 1, 2. A 6, which is 1, 5 or 2, 4. A 15 there, which is 6, 9 or 7, 8. I've got a total of 40 there within a box, so I need 5 to make that up and a 4 to go with the 9 there. Got a 14 cage there, which is 5, 9 or 6, 8. Anything else looking nice? I will do a couple of others. So I've got a 12 cage there, 3, 9, 4, 8, 5, 7. I've got an 8 cage there, 1, 7, 2, 6, 3, 5. So hopefully now down to the solution. So if I add together this set of cells, I get 53. 53 is 8 more than 45, so those 3 cells between them will add up to 8. So 1, 3, 4 or 1, 2, 5. What I also notice, I've got 11, 17, 14, which add up to 42, and I've got another 14 there. So this set of cells add up to 56. Which is 11 more than 45. So these two are 11, and I've already limited my values in this one. So 2, 3, 5 or 6 to go with that. Right, I'm going to make a bit of a claim now that inside this 17 cage, I cannot have a 6 or a 7. That's my claim. I'll do one more thing first. I'll fill in candidates for this 11 cage. 2, 9, 3, 8 or 4, 7, but not 5, 6, so I've got a 5 there. But let's now have a look at why I couldn't have a 6 or a 7. Let's first clarify, I need a number that's at least 6. 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 is 15, which isn't enough for a 17 cage. So I need a number there which is at least 6, which must lie in one of those 2 cells. So I'm going to start with 7 and 6. I'm going to try and rule these out as quickly as possible. So 7, 6 is 13. I need 1, 3 there. I need 4 there to make it up to 8 between those 3. So 7, 6, 1, 3, 4. But then I need a 5 there because I've got a 6 in here. And a 5 there. Need 1 and 5 there. So I need 5, 9 and 1, 5. I can't have both of those in that column, so I cannot have both 7 and 6. Let's count down, let's stick with the 7 and count down the candidates. So 7 and 5 is 12. I can't have a 1 there, need a 1 there. So 7, 5 would have to go with 1 and 4, and 3 there, and 6 and 8 there. So I've got a 5 there, a 6 there, a 3 there. I need a total of 7, but with 3, 5 and 6, I rule out all my options. I can't have 3, 4, 2, 5 or 1, 6. So I can't have 7, 5 there. Let's try 7, 4 there, which is 11. Must have 1, 5 there. 7, 4, 1, 5, 2. So what? 2 there. Need a total of 8 there, which will have to be 3, 5. So 2, 3, 5, 6, 8. Got a 6, 8 there. But I've actually got 7, 4, 1, 5, 2, 3, 5. In fact, I've got a 2, 3, 5 cage there. I've got 6 there. I must have a 5 there. So that's not possible. I'd have a 6, 2, 3, 5, 6, I'd have to have a 5 there to make it up to 11. So a 5 both there and in this cage, which is not possible. And 7, 3 is not possible because the most I can have there is 6. So I now know I've got no 7 in that cage. What about a 6? 6 and 5 is 11. In fact, I can't have 1 and 5 to go with it. Let's rule that one out straight away. 6 and 4 is 10. I can't have as much as 7 there. So I can't have a 6 in there either. So I've ruled out 6 and 7. So I know I've got an 8 or 9. I'm just going to put them in with an underline option. We're going to come back to that very shortly. But we now know we've got an 8 or a 9 in that, on the left-hand side of that 17 cage. And we've got an 8 or a 9 in that 14 cage. So that takes care of the 8s and 9s in that first column. So what I'll do now is have a look at the different options here and what we could have in this 14 cage. So I've got 4 possibilities between those for 2 numbers that add up to 11. So let's count down. Let's start with a 9 there and work our way down the options. So 9, 2 there, 5 there. So I know I've got an 8 in there, but I've also got a total of 12. 2 would have to go with something adding up to 12. So 9, 5, an 8 in there. So I'd have to have 3 and 9 there. So I've got an 8 there, a 3, 9, I'd have to have a 4, 7 there. Right, does that work? I'd have to have both 1 and 2 there. In fact, that's not going to work, is it? Right. 9, 2, 5, 8, 3, 9. So with 3 and 9 both there, I've got to have a 4 and a 7 there, and that would leave me with just 1 and 2 for those 2 cages, those 2 cells, which is impossible if I have a 2 there. So I can't have 9 and 2 there, because I end up with having nowhere I could put the 2 in this box. So 9 and 2 can be ruled out. If I've got 8 there, I need 3 there, 6 there. So I have to have a 9 as one of those. So I need a total of 11 there, which will be 4 and 7. So 8, 6, 3. I can't have 3, 8 because I've got a 3 there. Can't have 6, 5 because I've got a 6 there. Can't have 2, 9 because I've got a 2 there. So 3, 4, 7, 8, 6. I'd have to have a 9 there, so that will be 3 and 8. Does that work? Well, I think that one might just work. So let's leave that in for now. So I'll put a 4 and 7 in there. Let's try the other options and see what happens. 6 there, 8 there. Must have a 9 as one of those. I've got 4 and 7 in this 11 cage. So again, it only leaves me 1 and 2 for those 2. So 6, 8, 5, 9, 1, 2. I'd have a 5 there. I want a total of 9 there. So not 8, 1 because I've got an 8 there. Not 5, 4 because I've got a 5 there. I've established that my 11... did I say my 11 cage will be 4 and 7? Yes, because I've got an 8 and 9 there. So can't have 2 and 7. So it only leaves me with 3 and 6. So I'd have 5, 6, 8, 3, 6, 4, 7, 1, 2, 5, 9. Okay, that might just be possible. Right, so 5, 6, 8 and 3, 6 there. Let's put that in. And the last one, a 5 there, a 6 there. Would have to have a 9 there and an 8 there. So I'd want 4, 7 for this 11 cage once again. And 1, 2 there and 6, 8 there. So 1, 2, 6, 8, 9, 4, 7. I'm left with 3 and 5. Okay, right. Let's have a look at this one now. So I've got at least 19 there, at least 10 there, at least 39. At least 40. 19, 10 and 11 is 40. So at most 5 there. Can't have the 5, so must have 2, 3 or 4 there. And 7, 8 or 9 to go with it to make up the 11. Right, let's see what else. Right, I thought I was able to eliminate the 4 and the 7 cage. 4 and 7 as a possibility from this 11 cage before. Can I do that? So I'm going to talk through this again. I think I might have missed something first time round. So 8, 6, 3, and give me 4, 7 there. 6, 5, 8, and I want a total of 9 there. I've got 9 there. But in fact, this 8 will be 1, 3 and 4. If I've got 6, 5, then my total of 8 here is 1, 3, 4. So in fact, this cage will be 1, 3, 4, 9. So in fact, what I said before was impossible. Yeah, so 6 there, 5 there, 1, 3, 4 between those 3 that add up to 8. I've got a 9 in there. I want 3 numbers adding up to 8 that join the 9. So 9, 1, 3, 4 I'd have to have. So 6, 5, 8. So can't have 5, 6. Can't have 4, 7. Can't have 3, 8 because I'd have an 8 there. And I can't have 2, 9. So that is actually impossible. So the 6 and the 5 can go. And the 9 from that... Oh dear, right, I confuse myself a bit now. Undo is what I'm looking for. So I removed a 6 from there, a 5 from there, and an 8 that would have gone with the 6. Right, let's try the same on 5 and 6 then. If I've got 5 there, I've got 6 there. I'd have to have a 9 there and an 8 in one of those. 8 as one of those two. So I did get my only 10 option as 3 and 7. So 5, 6, 3, 7, 9. Sorry, it's not 3, 7, is it? Because I want a total of 8 to go there. So 5, 6, 3, 5, 9. I'd have 3, 5 and 9 there, and 3 and 5 between those two. Would have to have the 5 there, because I can't have the 5 there. So 6 and 5, and I would have 1, 3, 4 between this set. So the 11 would have to be 4 and 7, so I'd need 1 and 3 there. So 5, 9, 6, 3, 5. That's it. So for the 1, 3, 4 that I need, I've got a 3 there, and I've got a 4 in the 11 cage. So I've got 9, 3, 5, only leaving 4 and 7. So I've got nowhere to put the 4 in that. In fact, I've got no numbers I could populate those two with if I've got 6 and 5 there. So once again, 5, 9, 6, 3 and 5, 4, 7, 3, 5, 6. So actually 5 and 3 that way round. So 3 there, and 1 and I need a 1 and 4 there, and a 4 and 7 there to make up the 8 there and the 11 there respectively. So I can take out that 5 and 6 option. So I've got 8 and 3 there. So that one is a 6. These two have to be 11 more to make that up to 14. But in fact, I must have a 9 in that as my big number on the left of the 17 cage. So I can take out 9 and 2 there. So what could I... Total of 11 there. So I can't have the 6 there because I've got no 5 to go with it. In fact, the total of 8 I've got here are 1, 2, 5. So let's take out the 3s and 4s from that. 1, 2, 5 there. So no 5 there, no 6 there. So that's 4 and 7. And that is 3 and 8. So I now know that my numbers for this 11 cage are 1, 2, 5, 9. And I'll de-underline at that point. So, right. I know this 11 cage isn't 3 and 8 now. So 2, 9, 4, 7 or 5, 6. So what else? What else do we see? So I've got a 9 as one of those, along with 2 or 5. In fact, I can take out the 3 there and the 8 there that would have gone with it. So 1, 2, 4, 6, 7. So 3, 5, 8, 9 to fill up that row. This cage is more than this one, but that one's 14, so that's at least 15. I cannot have both the 8 and the 9 there. Could I suppose I could have 3, 5 and 9. In fact, that's something else. Let's look at this one now. So 11, at least 12, at least 13. So if I take minima, 11, 12, 13 is 39, and 8 is 47. Sorry, 11, 12, 13 is 36. Correction, 11, 12, 13 is 36, and 8 is 44, and 4 is 48. I've got a minimum of 48 there. So a minimum of 3, because 48 is 3 more than 45. So minimum of 3 to go in that one. So, if I've got 3 and 5 there, I've got to have at least 15. So I could in fact have 7 or 9 there. But if those two are 7 or 9, I need at least 3, 4 there. So 7 plus 9 plus 23 is 39. And at least 3 and 4 there. That'd be too much. That'd be more than 45. So I can't have both the 3 and the 5. I need one of 8 and 9 and one of 3 and 5. So I've got 1 of 8 and 9 there, and 1 of 8 and 9 there. I can rule out 2 and 9 for that 11 cage. So now I know I've got 6 or 7 there, 6 or 7 there. So 6, 7, 8, 9 all spoken for. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 then are possibilities for those two cells, but not 4 in that one. I've now got a quintuple, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 must be these between them. So that tells us a lot. So not 1, 2, 5 there, that's a 9. Not 3 there, so that's 8 and 3 that way round. So not 8 there, not the 7 that would have gone with it. I also know the 3 must be one of those two because it's not any of the others. So the 3 is not on the top. I must have a 5 there. So that 11 isn't 5 and 6, it's 4 and 7. So let's rule out the 4 there and the 7 and 8 there. So that's 6. That 15 cage is now 6 and 9. In fact, I know it's that way round, 6 and 9. So that one isn't a 9, that one isn't the 3 that would have gone with it. So I've not got a 9 there, so that's 5 and 8. Let's take out 5 and 8 from these two. I've got 3 and 9 there. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, only leaves me 7 to go in this one. I can take out a 5 from that as well. I've got 1, 2, 3. So now what could I have here? So I need at least 15 because this one is 14. So 5, 8, I could have 2, not 3, I could have 4, and I could have 6. I've ruled out 7 and 9, but 2, 4 and 6 are still possibles from what I can see. Okay, anything else jumping out? So I've got 22 between those four. I've got 1s and 2s between those two cages in this one. In fact, I've got 6 and 17, which is 23, and 1 or 2. So I've got 24 or 25. So I've got 20 or 21 between those. I can't have a 3 to join the 7 there. So the 9 and 3 must go that way round. And 20 or 21, I need 4 or 5 there. But I can't have a 4 because I've got one there. I've got to have a 5 there then. So that's 2, 4. That's 1, 2. Not a 2 there. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So this one's a 5. So they're 1 and 2 between them. And not a 5 here. So 6 and 8 between those two. So the top 3 rows looking really good now. So let's have a look at what we could have. Is there anything we can deduce on the 10 cage? So I can't have a 6 in there. I can't have 7, 8. Sorry, I can't have 8 or 9. I could have 7 in there with 1 and 2. If the 7 goes on there, I've got 1 and 2 there, which forms a deadly pattern with 1 and 2 there. So if I've got a 7, it has to be that one with 1 and 2. Could I have a 5 in it? I could have 5 as either of those two with 1 and 4. So 1 as a candidate for that 1 and 4. But I need a 5 or a 7 in there. Yes, I couldn't have 6 in there because I'd have 1 and 3 with it. I've got a 3 there. So I've got certainly a 1 in the 10 cage. And I've got 2, 7 or 5, 4 to join them. So I've got 2 and 4. 2 or 4 there, 2 or 4 there. So 1, 2, 3, 4 spoken for. In fact, I couldn't have a 5 in this cage. I've got 5 there, 5 there. So I must have a 5 in the 10 cage. So the 10 cage must be 1, 4, 5. So no 2 and no 7. The 10 cage is 1, 4, 5. So that one's a 2. That one's a 9. And what have I got left to go in here? 6, 7, 9. Right, so remember as well I had a total of 8 here. I've got a 5 there already. Must have 1 and 2 between those two. So that's a 1. So that is a 2 and a 1 there. So 4, 5 there. I've got 2, 3, 7 in this 12 cage. What could I have in this 10 cage? So could have 9 and 1 that way round. Not 2, 8, not 3, 7. Could have 4 and 6 either way round. And the 18 cage is the missing pair of this 10 along with an 8. So 8 in either of those. I could put the 4 or 6 anywhere. Though the 1 and 9 must have the 1 on this side. I've got a 1 there, so I must have a 1 on this side. In fact, I could have had... I can't have an 8 there. Yeah, so 8 there. 1, 4, 6, 9, like that. Right. So anything else? I've got a 10 cage here, but not 9 or 7 in it. So 2 and 8 either way round. I've got 4 there, so 6 and 4 that way round. And 11 here, but not 4, 7 or not 2, 9. I've got both of 2 and 9 there, so that can't be either of them. So I could have 5 and 6 that way round, or 3 and 8 either way round. Right, okay, so that means a 3 and 5 in this 8 cage would eradicate both options from this. I'll be left with 6 and 8 there, which turns up to 11. So not 3 or 5 there. I got 1, 2, 6, 7, but in fact I've got 4 in this column, so I must have 7 and 4 that way round. So the 8 cage is 2, 6. The 11 cage is 3 and 8. So what have I got left to go in here? 1, 5, 7, 9. 1, 5, 7, 9, but not a 5 on the top row because I've got a 5 there. Not a 9 in the right-hand column because I've got a 9 there. Okay, also remember, these two are at least 12. So can't have a 1 in there, so must have 1 as part of this cage. What I'm wondering now, could I have anything more than 12 here? If I've got 9 and 7, in fact, I know I've got I don't have a 5 there. I must have a 5 there. So 5, 7 or 5, 9 is all I could have there. Could I have 9 and 5 then? Then I'd have 1, 7. Remember, 5 plus 9 is 14. 1, 7 is 8. In fact, I can't have a 9 there. I need 1, 7. I need an 8 to go with it. So I'd have 9 and 8. I suppose I could have... I've got 40 there now between those. If I've got 9 and 8, so I could have 2 and 3 to make that up to 45. Is that possible? I'm not seeing why not at the minute. So, okay, so let's not read anything into that just yet. Though I do know I've got a total of 13 between those three. What can I have? So 2 and a total of 11, 4 a total of 9, or 6 and a total of 7. Any of them would satisfy this inequality, so that not worried about that. Though I got a 4 there. I know I don't have a 4 there. I don't have a 4 there either. 4 in that column now already. I've got a 2 there as well. In fact, that's good. I've got a 2 there, so that's a 6. So I've got a total of 15 and 23. That's 38. Need a total of 7 there. There's only one way to do that, isn't there? 3 and 4. So 3 there, 4 there. I can't have the 4 there. So let's put the 3 in there, and the 4 in there, and the 8 in there that would have gone with it. So 4 and 8 to go from there. 2 and 8. So not a 4 there, that's a 5 and a 4. And not a 3 there, so that's 8 and 3 and 5 and 8. And not a 5 there. So 179, I now know that one is a 5. What I could have here is 178, but not an 8 there. Only place in that column for an 8 is that one. So this is 1 and 7. Let's come back to this now. If I got 5, 9 there, I've got 3, 1, 7, which is 11, which is far from the 14 that is. So that's going to be 5 and 7. That's 1, that's 9. So that's 12, that's 13. That's great. In fact, I've got a 1 there. That's a 7. So what can still go there? 1, 4, 1, 2, 5, sorry. I've got a 1 in that row, so that's 1 there. I've got 5 there, so 2 and 5 like that. I've got 3 there, so 1 and 3 there. Okay, so 4 and 9 I've got in that row. I've got an 8 there as well. So this one's a 6. So it means that 10 cage is 1, 9. That's a 4, and this one is an 8. So 4 there, 7, 4. No 7 there. There's 6 and 9. This one is a 7. So 6 and 9 there. Let's do the top row of this. 1, 4, 5. But not a 1 there, not a 5 there. I couldn't have 4 and 5 there because I'd need another 4 there with it to make up 13, having 2 4s in the same cage. So I need a 1 there and a 4 and a 5. So 1 plus 5 is 6 and 7 there. So what could I still have here? 3, 6, 9, but not 9 there because I've got a 9 in the column. Okay, I've got an 8 there, so 6 and 8 that way round. 2, 3, 7, that's all I've got left for that row, but not a 3 there. So 14 there. Can't have a 9 in a 14 cage. But I can't have a 7 there because I've got one in the column. Can't have a 9 in the 14 cage. My 9 must be one of those. It must be that one, the only place in the box for a 9. So 2, 3 or 4 there, but I've got a 3 there. That one's 2 or 4. So 2, 4 paired there. That is a 3. So that's not a 3. That's 2 or 7. So what have I got in this box? 14 and 8 and 9, 31, and 3 is 34. So those two must add up to 11. So 4 and 7. So that's not 7, that's 2. I've got 3, 7 there, not 3 there. So 3, 7 like that. I've got an inequality here still to satisfy. If I've got 9 there, that's 19. And 4, 3, 6 is 13. That won't satisfy it. So that one must be a 6. Not a 6 there. So 4, 3, 9, 16 there, 16 there. That's fine. 4 there, so that's 2 and 4. Got a 9 in that row, so 6 and 9 there. What to still go here? 1, 2, 5, 6. Got 1 and 6 there, so 2 and 5 there. But got a 5 in that row, so 2, 5, 6, 2. So the 6 there and the 1 there. So I think that was really just a case of getting going with the left-hand column and the box in the top left, ruling out the 6 and the 7 from it. Once we did that, we were absolutely fine after a bit more thought. But I hope that was helpful. Hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you on the next video.